Why did the chicken and the egg cross the road? To get to the pasture, because that's where they want to be. Now, just so you know, I have some notes over here, so I'm going to be looking over there every now and then. But today I want to talk about eggs and labels on eggs. So back in the day, they didn't need labels. And one reason is because they either had their own chickens, they knew a neighbor who had their own chickens, or they knew the farmer who raised chickens, right? And the other thing to think about is, why do we need labels? The only reason you would need a label on food is because you don't know where it's coming from. So that's pause for thought right there. But with that said, let's get into some of the labels and what they mean. So I'm just going to go over some of the main ones that you might see in the store. We have cage-free, free range, you might see organic in there somewhere, and pasture-raised. So cage-free, all that means is that they're not in those cages anymore. They used to be, I mean, it's still being done, but a lot of producers are starting to go to cage-free now because that's what consumers are asking for. But the old battery cages, so it's literally these very small cages that they could barely stand up in. I don't even know that they could actually, or can't stretch out their wings, can't do anything really, and they're cages next to each other and stacked on top of each other. And so cage-free just means that they're not in those cages anymore, but you could still have thousands of chickens in a dark shed, really not doing well at all. It's not a good condition for them, but that's kind of where the cage-free term comes in. So it probably doesn't mean what you think it means. It sounds good, not so good. The next level is going to be free range. So free range, all that means is that they have a specified space that they can get into outside. So it might just be like this little area. It might even be on a concrete pad that goes out of the shed, out into the sun, but they can't even get to it. You know, most of them can't make their way over there because they're not even able to walk that well because of the different conditions that they're being raised in. And so you have a porch that they either don't know how to use, or they're scared to use it, or it's inaccessible or whatever, but that's free range. So again, probably not what you were thinking. They're still being raised in these massive barns with thousands of other hens, not really able to use that porch. Then you might have organic in there somewhere. Organic simply means it doesn't have anything to do with the way the bird is raised. It simply means that they are fed organic feed, certified organic feed, and they supposedly aren't given vaccines or antibiotics. That's all that label really means. They are still being raised in a huge shed. That's generally what that means. Then we're moving into pasture raised. Pasture raised is really what you want to look for, and it's not that easy to find, especially in typical conventional grocery stores. You're not going to see that, but that means that they're actually out on grass. Where they're supposed to be. Technically, chickens are tropical birds, and so they're used to being in trees, but when we're raising them in areas like in Colorado or throughout the United States or something, you're gonna see them out on pasture. And generally they have, you know, like a little coop that they can go into and get their, you know, rest and everything. That's where they lay their eggs. But in general, that just means pasture raised. They're out on grass and they're eating the bugs and the different grubs and everything out there. That's what makes their yolks so like bright yellow, almost orange. Actually, you can get some really pretty orange yolks in there. So anyhow, that's kind of the idea behind pasture raised. They're doing their natural chicken behaviors. They're not being altered in ways that sometimes they are in these other conditions. I don't even want to go into that, but anyway, so that's kind of the different variables that you're going to see with the labels. Then we're looking at health benefits, and I'm going to flip my notes around so that I can talk to you about some of the studies that have been done on pasture-raised eggs and what the health benefits are. So studies show you have 2/3 more vitamin A, 2 times more omega-3 fatty acids, 2 times plus, 3 times more vitamin E, 7 times more beta carotene, 3 to 6 times more vitamin D, 70% more vitamin B12, and 50% more folic acid. So those are just some of the numbers that have come from a number of studies. And I mean, it's because they're actually out living the way nature intended. They're actually out in their environment and they're out interacting with the cycles that are natural in nature. And so you're going to have healthier chickens, and you're going to have healthier eggs. Um, so how do we get this food, right? If you're really wanting to look for pasture-raised eggs, if that's something you can budget for in your food budget, I highly recommend it. There are a lot of different reasons, not only for health, but if you're looking at environmental health, if you're looking at the welfare of the bird, if you're looking at trying to support your local farmers, that's where you really want to know your farmer. So either you're raising your own chickens, you know someone, a neighbor who raises their own pastured chickens, or you know the farmer, and there's really no substitute for these relationships. Again, why do we need labels? We only need them if we don't know where our food is coming from. So know your food, and that's gonna nix the whole reason why we need labels. So that's kind of the basis of what I wanted to get across today. I hope you learned a little bit, and we'll see you next time.